Hey everyone, this is Creative Commentary, episode number 1, with your host Tashad. Okay, before I actually get into today's topics, I want to kind of lay out what my expectations are of this podcast. If you're watching this, odds are you're either following me on TikTok or Instagram, or you've already subscribed to this channel. So basically, I want this podcast to kind of function as like a weekly roundup of some things I find interesting in the realm of fashion. I do a series called Fashion Evolutions, which basically I take one specific, usually a music artist, and I show from the beginning of their career, or I explain rather, from the beginning of their career to where they are now and the way they dress, how that's changed, and all the factors that went into it in more of like a personal, social, political type of way. I like to deep dive into it instead of just giving you firsthand reactions to what they wear, because I find that to be kind of not helpful when it comes to understanding fashion and the way it functions both within the industry, but just I guess as a way it functions within the human mind. That's what I really, really find interesting about fashion in the first place. And so I want this podcast to function as not just the fashion kind of place to judge fashion, but just a way to speak about fashion in a more holistic kind of archaeological sense, if you want to put it that way. I'm still having a hard time kind of describing what it is I even make content about. When people ask, I draw a blank a lot of times. I just kind of just say fashion. Um, but I want people who enjoy my content, my short form content, to have a place where they can listen to me kind of talk more about the things I'm interested in and the resources I use to kind of educate myself, or just to have a different perspective about the things people wear. So this is what that podcast is. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, I want to start off on a really, really light note, because this is something I actually don't often put into my content, but there's a lot of fashion that I just find funny, and I think that it's okay to find fashion funny. I think sometimes when you see fashion and you think it's laughable, it's seen as like negative, or you assume that that's not what the intent of the wearer is. And sometimes that is true, but I think more than anything, like fashion can function as a source of just straight entertainment, and you can laugh at it and find it humorous if you do. So one thing I prefaced all of that, and then I'm gonna say something where I know someone's trying to be serious and it's just hilarious to me, so sorry about that. But I guess I'll just say it. Ice Spice's stylist clearly hates her. Lately, Ice Spice's outfits have not been hitting. In terms of when she goes to like fashion shows. I know that she's kind of new to the space of fashion, or the fashion industry in general. Like, we've seen Ice Spice for the past couple of years. Like, what has it been, like 3, 4 years of her career, maybe even 5. So we're familiar with her on like a pop culture and even more specifically social media culture lens. But when it comes to like the fashion industry and fashion in general, she's still really new to that space. So I think that's why the outfits have been laughable. But I find them interesting in that way. Like, it's laughable in the sense that, like, I don't mean to look at it and be like, damn, her stylist is doing a bad job. No, that's kind of, well, specifically like these two outfits at I'll insert the pictures on screen. At Off-White's fall 2025 show, where she looks like a football player with splatter paint. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm, for the life of me, cannot figure out what they were going for. I've spent so much time looking at this damn photo. You guys would actually think I'm insane because I'm trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense, which is basically like the story of my life. But I like to understand things. I think that's something that we should just get out of the way. I will always try to understand before I react. So this I have tried to understand so much. Like, I you guys know that the whole I guess like activewear or sportswear in particular has been trending a lot on the runways for the past couple of years. And I think that that's kind of what they were going for. Like she comes from a very like streetwear background in terms of the things she usually wears. Very like New York City girl kind of thing. But I think what they were trying to do here is take that same idea of like streetwear and then like make it high fashion, but also make it very eye catching. So like a little bit of kitschy in there. I I cannot. I'm trying to think of a way in which they could have looked at this and been like, right, this is what we were going for. Like when they actually put it on the body. Because when it comes to picking out clothes, I think people often underestimate how difficult it is to know if a look is going to look good without it being on the body, right? And I don't mean in the sense of like body type, but just obviously wearing an outfit is going to have a different effect than seeing an outfit on a hanger. That's why a lot of clothes sell, if we're being honest. But this outfit, I don't know if it even like I'm thinking about it like off the hanger. It's like it's interesting. The pieces themselves, I guess. I guess they're interesting. Are they interesting? I don't know. To me, maybe the jacket's a little bit interesting. I don't think I would have ever put it on a woman. Just because like the shoulders and also like her stature, the you see how the arms are like bunching up. It's clearly like not fitted well. So it doesn't match her body in that sense. And then like the under, is it a dress? Is it a skirt? If it's a dress, it might not be too bad. Maybe they should have just went with the dress and then like a cool shoe. But if it's a skirt, I have no idea why they did this. She doesn't even look like she's enjoying it. She looks like she's like, what am I wearing? But maybe, I'm thinking maybe this is part of the plan. Because Ice Spice kind of fell off for a little bit. Like, people got over the hype of the trend of Ice Spice, basically. Like, at first when she came out, she was like, people ironically liked her. And then people were genuinely liking her. And then they kind of just got bored because they were like, well, if we're genuinely interested, there's not much there, you know? Okay, but moving on to the next outfit. This is the one that throws me for a loop. The Vivienne Westwood, the outfit she wore to Vivienne Westwood's fall 2025 Paris show. I understand it's like Paris, it's Vivienne Westwood. You're kind of like tempted to just go all out to look cool, I guess, and stand out amongst the crowd. But what is this? Honestly, okay, the color scheme, I actually kind of like the color scheme. I see what was going here. The silvery blue, the taupe, the pop of red, the gray. I can see what was happening with the color scheme here. The sparkly leggings, crazy. Because it kind of just makes her look like the most boring superhero ever. And I don't know if that's even a vibe we get from Ice Spice at all. I think Ice Spice's personality is too bland for an outfit like this. Maybe if it was like on Dochi or something, like maybe it would have looked a little different, maybe with the hair and makeup a little different, because then we would register it differently. But it being on Ice Spice just comes across as I want attention and I don't really have much of a fashion sense. That's what it's coming across as. My bad, my bad. Anyway, she looks crazy, and I just think that's hilarious. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. I think this was fashion done. I don't want to say right, but it was fashion done. Okay, moving on. I wanted to talk about Keke Palmer. So, I love Keke Palmer's relationship with her stylist. I think her stylist is Sergio Hudson, and they've been working together for I think a couple years now, maybe like on and off, because I've definitely seen her styled by other people as well. But he just gets her so right. I think Sergio Hudson also is a designer. He's been a long time stylist, but he's also has been a designer as well. I think his brand started. Let's see, when did his brand start? In 2014. Oh my god, it's been like 10 years. Interesting. Anyway, the way he designs is very similar to the way he styles, which makes sense. But he has this way of, first of all, he designs, I think his target audience is definitely black women, and like black women of a certain status, um economically, politically, socially, all the things. Like high status black women. It seems like that's who he is thinking about when he designs, because the color choice, the cuts, the way you have to wear it and give yourself that kind of like opulent look, it's very much like high class. And the way he's been styling Keke Palmer lately, I think really mimics that and is creating this kind of idea of a new Hollywood archetype. Like, I think when you think of old Hollywood, a lot of times you think of the image of like Marilyn Monroe. Voluminous hair, maybe a red lip, um, this like beautiful long gown that fits the body well and just shows your curves. Um, what else do you think of? And like colors that are very just flattering. So this really classic look, right? Classic red carpet. When people go on red carpets and they kind of want to like blend in, or they just want to look pretty, they're going for that type of style, that classic Hollywood look. I think Sergio Hudson and Keke Palmer are developing a new classic Hollywood look, which I think is highly influenced by blackness and the way that it changes how we participate in style. Because there are a lot of things when it comes to blackness that being black, first of all, being black and having your culture come from a different continent of people who have already established that, color and texture and standing out is looking good. That's like the baseline of it. It's like uh, blending in for black people when it comes to fashion isn't our thing. We like to stand out, we like to look different, we like to put our best foot forward when it comes to style. And our color choice is always complementary of our skin. Color and fabric choice, I might add. And so I think when it comes to like this new Hollywood persona that they're presenting, it takes those things into account while still using the blueprint of old Hollywood. And I love that. I think it's beautiful, and I think Keke Palmer is the right person to choose to kind of build that archetype because of how much experience she has in Hollywood. Like, she has 20 plus years of a career, and she just keeps climbing up and up. Like, she's one of those classic Hollywood icons. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see how that changes the way other people dress, like not just other black people, but other young people in Hollywood, and how they kind of look to Keke and Sergio to really see what is fresh and new and how they should be styling their outfits and what emotions they should be giving when they go on the red carpet. I'm excited for that. Let's move on to the Oscars. I wanted to talk about the Oscars. I don't typically tune in live for the award shows just because I find them kind of boring. I don't really care. Even though I'm a huge movie and TV person, I actually love movies and TV shows. I watch a lot of them. But when it comes to like just award shows in general, I don't always think that they're interesting. I don't really care when something wins an award. Do you guys feel this? Like when something wins an award, to me, it doesn't really signal, oh, I should go watch it, or um, this is really something that was done really well. Like to me, it's kind of just like someone chose to give you an award. I don't know. Like I don't understand the whole concept of the Academy. Like I understand that it's like, or I know that it's some specially chosen group of people in Hollywood. It's like the fucking electoral college. Like, who are these people? I don't know. but apparently they're a big deal and they're very certified and they have so much experience, so they're able to critique movies and films better than anybody else, right? And they do these nominations and the awards, right? But I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't care. I am very comfortable in my opinions. As you can see, I'm very comfortable in my opinions and asserting my opinions, and something winning an award or not doesn't sway how I view it. Um, and it doesn't make me more inclined to go indulge in a piece of media. I really just have to know what the basis is and typically who creates it. That's more appealing to me. Like the directors, the lead actors, the producers, like that kind of stuff is more appealing to me to give a recommendation that I'll actually follow through with than just being like, "Oh, it won this award." Like, okay. Anyway, that being said, I want to go through some Oscars looks because I didn't watch it live, but um I did see some looks via Instagram. And I was like, those are interesting. Let's talk about it. The thing I will preface, I'm gonna get into the looks, guys. What we have to get used to is the fact that I am a very long-winded person. I know it doesn't seem that way from TikTok. Actually, does it seem that way? I have no idea which way it seems, but I am a very long-winded person. I have to preface my judging of these looks with the fact that the Oscars, like much red carpet events, or much red carpet events that don't have a theme. So I'm not talking about like the Met Gala where it's very specific on how you should dress rather than just like black tie. They give a specific theme. Like that's easy to judge. But when it comes to other red carpet events, it's just between the talent and the stylist or styling team to just come up with what they want to give. Like it's so subjective and we as the viewers don't get that insight a lot of times on what they're trying to go for. So it's hard for us to know whether or not they hit the nail on the head. And besides just hitting the nail on the head, it's kind of hard to always understand what you're even looking at in the first place. But I do, that being said, I do think very great styling, um, very great styling, period, is exemplified through really understanding or being able to look at an outfit or look at what someone has on and just be like, "Oh yeah, I totally get what you're going for. You did it splendidly. It's either in line with whatever character you're playing at the moment or in line with whatever project you have out. It like really is telling the story of you right now." To me, that's beautiful styling. That being said, let's get into it. First one I want to talk about is we have Cynthia Erivo. Um, this is like so classic Elphaba. Like this is Elphaba. If she was allowed to flourish and be all that she wanted to be, this is what she would look like. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's so powerful because it has this really, really strong structure to it. Excuse me. And obviously she's taking up a lot of physical space, which adds to the awing feeling it gives you looking at it. I think the nails and the rings really beautiful detail. Um I just really, really love this dress. I think this dress who designed it? Let's take a look at that actually. Louis Vuitton. I wouldn't have guessed this for Louis Vuitton. Obviously it's custom Louis Vuitton. This is not on the runway of Louis Vuitton right now. But I think it's really, really beautiful. Okay, so it says here in the inspiration notes, a nod to Oz, the green color, and the old Hollywood. Beautiful. Styled by Jason Bolden. Yeah, that tracks. I really, really love the collar detail. I think it gives it that kind of like spooky villain look, which obviously Elphaba leans into the whole concept of what is a villain and what makes someone a bad quote unquote person. But I love, the spikiness does give that kind of like scary vibe to it. But then the bow is very inviting and delicate, and then the kind of arching of the hips is beautiful and feminine. And I love that you also can't see her shoes. Like I love that it just comes to the ground. I think like a while ago when it came to like when it came to red carpet gowns, a lot of the time they wouldn't do all the way to the ground. I don't know what that was about. Why we always had to see someone's shoes and their feet. I'm really good. What for what? We know they're standing. Why do we need to see? Anyway, but I'm so glad that so many designers are like, bring it to the ground. Fuck the shoes. Oh, love, 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 love Timothy Chalamet in, I believe this is Givenchy. Let's see. This yellow, amazing. Yes, Givenchy, Sarah Burton. Okay, so this yellow suit I think is so beautiful. I think it's really just a great example of how to dress men in an interesting way. Um, First of all, I think we cannot rush too much over the color because this color choice is so perfect. It is so difficult to get a pale yellow to look flattering on someone, especially a white person. A pale yellow can easily wash out a white person. Like it's can make them look sickly, make the undertones come out like greenish kind of looking. Or the other way, it makes them look really red. Like it's really hard to get a pale yellow right on a white person. And they did it. It's like the perfect buttery yellow, but I think a lot of why it comes out so nicely has to do with the fabric choice. So the top and the jacket look like they're this beautiful like satin color. I mean satin fabric. Let's see if I can find details. Silk. There we go. We've got silk on the shirt with the matching silk jacket. Beautiful. And then we've got the leather pants. This leather pant, I think, really, really adds something really interesting and cool to the outfit. I know I keep saying really, but like I really like this look, guys. Obviously, we know Timothy Chalamet's personality. He's a very down-to-earth guy, very casual. His sense of style tends to lean more on like the streetwear style. Um, so I love that they paired it with a leather pant instead of a like a regular slack. It would have just been very boring. It's been like, oh, a pale yellow suit. What is it, Easter? But now it gives, okay, you're stylish, you're cool, you're new age, and you're on trend because this light colored leather is really in trend right now. I've been seeing it on a lot of runways. I think it's so beautiful. I think it's what we need. We all need some light colored leather in our wardrobe. It just gives such a more like chic, cool vibe. Because obviously, leather itself gives a very grunge look, so it makes everything look a little more tough and that little edge of masculinity to it. But with in light colors, it's just so much more interesting. I love it. Okay, so that's Timmy. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? All right, so this Ariana Grande look, um, I am not a fan. I'm not gonna lie. This is like one of the only Ariana Grande looks that I haven't like really, really loved. It's not even like, oh, this is Schiaparelli, very obviously. Schiaparelli, like if you don't know, Schiaparelli loves to play with structure. They're going to always give a very interesting, unnatural structure to a dress, specifically a dress, but other pieces as well. But I don't I don't love this. Because to me, all I see, and I hope that this was the inspiration for it, all I see when I look at it is like a really long tutu. So it's like grown up tutu. And I think that's what they were going for, like leaning into Glinda's, kind of hyper feminine personality. But I don't know, like something about it doesn't land. Maybe it's the color choice. Like it's so pale pink. And I can understand like the pale pink is very clean, very, crisp. But like maybe they could have made the tutu in a pink as well. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done differently to make this look a little bit more interesting and better to me. But I don't know, something about it is like a little off-putting. Like I just don't like looking at it. And I think it has to do with the tulle. I think it's the color of the tulle. Yeah. Maybe if it was a lighter color, it would have looked nice. But the tulle is kind of this like dusty cream. The sparkles are nice. It's a nice touch. Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez is wearing, what is she wearing? I'm not gonna lie, the dress is beautiful, right? I think Ralph Lauren. Okay, it's cute. I feel like I've seen this Ralph Lauren dress on a red carpet probably like 50 times. I don't know why they always do just a long sparkly gown. Like I don't, why do they keep doing this? I, why must they do this to us? I don't know. It's not that interesting to me. That being said, her jewelry, her makeup, and her hair, stunning. I think Selena's glam team is one of the best in the industry. Every time I see her like neck up, I'm like, whoa, this woman is gorgeous, like stunning beauty. Like obviously some of that is her own natural beauty, but I'm just saying the glam team really knows what flatters her face so well. Yeah, moving on. Coleman Domingo. Oh my gosh. So I really like this suit, but the more I look at it, the more I just see like a karate jacket. Yeah. And I'm not sure if this specific color choice was the way to go. Like this red looks nice, but it's one of those reds that's like it's like a tomato red and it kind of gives it this flat look, like it's not super dimensional. And so I'm guessing that this is one of those reds that look better in person. That's the thing when it comes to like photography of these award shows. It's hard to tell if the color choice you're seeing on screen is the true color choice. I think it would have been better if I seen it in person. Yeah, cool. I think Coleman Domingo, he is another like fashion trendsetter for, you know, men. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say he's kind of ushering this new wave of menswear can look different than just the three-piece suit. Um, I really, really love it. And he's very good at accessorizing too. I have a feeling he does that on his own. I don't know, something about it just seems like very personal. Like the accessories don't look like you've got a brand deal with Bulgari. Like it looks like these are his actual accessories that he wears. Mikey Madison, I don't like this dress. I don't like this dress one bit. In Dior. Yeah, just it does look Dior. I don't know, something about the structure of the bottom of it, like the pink part. I mean, that's most of the dress, but specifically waist going down, like waist going down to the upper thigh. The structure there is strange. It's unflattering. I don't know what happened here. Maybe I should see the back of this dress because I really don't know what I'm looking at. Maybe it's just the fabric choice. Like it's a beautiful fabric, don't get me wrong, but it makes it look like wrinkled and like it's not supposed to like bend in the way that it's bending. Yeah, it doesn't flatter her. I know they did like the train for, dramatic effect. Is it a bow and a train? If it's a bow and a train, I swear to God. I'm tired of seeing bows and then a train. Like, you could just make a train. It's fine. Like, you don't have to tie it in a bow to make it a train. And she already has a bow right here. Like, why would you do another one on the back? It's kind of overkill. You could just make. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Oh, Michelle Yao. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Her dress, love this. And I'm surprised because it's kind of doing the same thing that Mikey's was doing, where it's kind of like in that waist to upper thigh region. It looks almost like it's not finished, like they haven't tailored it yet. But this one works, I think, because first of all, the train is at the side, and the whole dress, you can tell the whole dress was gathered. That's how they created the structure. They gathered everything. So that's why it looks more intentional, and it's, of course, the color choice is really beautiful as well. This is one of the most beautiful cobalt blues I've seen in a while. Um Very flattering on her skin tone. I think this would be flattering on anybody's skin tone, honestly. It's just a beautiful blue. Um this was by Balenciaga. Yes. Interesting. Omar Apollo in Valentino. He looks amazing. I love this look. I'm such a sucker for like, I don't even know what the word is. Like looks like this, where it's like not much color to it, but it's so interesting otherwise. We've got a head kind of net hat thing going on, which I think is pretty cute because we're still getting to see his makeup, his hair, but it's just like an extra detail that looks kind of cool. Like it doesn't look stupid to me. And it's actually kind of easy for headwear pieces to look stupid. But this one looks really cool and it actually fits within the vibe of the outfit. And then we've got this undershirt. Oh my gosh, I love this undershirt. This polka dot undershirt. Polka dots are really in right now. And then the polka dot scarf that's functioning as a tie. That's beautiful too. And I love that it has the tassels at the end. That's just like a really interesting, cool detail there. And then like the flats with the bows on them. Oh my gosh. I think this is such a cool look. It kind of does a little bit give like magician, but like in a cool way, like the coolest magician you've ever seen, right? This is my favorite look of the entire event. This is really cool to me. I think this is cool to me because this is something I would actually wear. Maybe that's why I'm finding it so cool. Emma Stone. Okay, so Emma Stone is wearing, let's see who Emma Stone is wearing right now. Louis Vuitton again. Okay. I'm not super interested in the gown itself, right? This gown, it's cute, it's whatever, but what I wanted to say is that Emma Stone's style lately has been so cool. I think since she got a pixie cut, obviously I'm a fan of a pixie cut. Pixie cuts, when you first get them, give you the opportunity to transform your look and transform your style into something a little bit more curated and more chic, I guess. I feel like chic is such an overused word. What does it even mean? At this point, I forget. Chic means elegantly and stylishly fashionable. Elegantly and stylishly fashionable. Fashionably fashionable. What? That's a bad word. That is such a bad word. But what I'm trying to say is that it makes everything look very intentional. And intention makes you look cool. Is that a surprise? No, we know this. Anyway, I wanted to look up this dress she was wearing the other day. Oh my god, she was wearing this beautiful red dress. Where was that? It was at Golden Globes. It was the Golden Globes. This dress? Oh my god, I love this dress. Like this dress is, you know how I was talking about just now? No, Mikey Madison and then Michelle Yao, how they had this kind of like both had this awkward section of their dress where it was from the waist to like the upper thigh. This dress totally is the opposite of that, where it's like we know exactly what's going on here all the way down. Like we can scan the dress and we know what's going on. I think that's beautiful tailoring, beautiful design. It's a great dress. Who designed this dress? Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton knows what they're doing. Also, going back to that whole thing about the old Hollywood look, but I was saying that Keke Palmer and her stylist Sergio Hudson are reinventing the wheel when it comes to that. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Not to say that, you know, Emma Stone and her stylist were copying them. I don't know. But what I am saying is it's giving that old Hollywood look this refreshed take, I guess you could say. Because it's the classic old Hollywood, very clean skin, cute, intentional, chic hairstyle. I'm gonna stop using chic. I swear to God, I'm gonna stop. Very intentional hairstyle. And it's a little daring as well. You know, something probably most people wouldn't just pull off. Even though the pixie has been in again. Clearly I have a short haircut. I know this. Anyway, but it's the classic, you know, red gown, but cooler, more structural, more, what is the word? Experimental. That's the word I'm looking for in my brain. Oh my God. Anyway, an experimental red dress. Love it. I think it works really, really well. It's really flattering. The fabric choice is great too. And it's that perfect red that it's not looking very flat, like it has dimension to it. I think like the ribbon or whatever it is, going around her waist actually adds to that as well. It gives it a little bit more dimension. Yeah, love it. Okay, I think I'm done talking about the. No, I'm not. Miley Cyrus. Okay, I have to talk about Miley Cyrus's look. I will confess that I am a Miley Cyrus stan. And when I say I'm a stan, what I mean is I'm a super fan, but I have sense. Like I'm not someone who's gonna stan somebody and then I can't see that they've ever done or said anything wrong. I'm not that kind of person. Miley Cyrus has made many mistakes throughout her career. But I love her music. I love her style. I'm really into everything that Miley Cyrus is putting out there. So, she's wearing Alexander McQueen at the Oscars. I love this look on her. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The hair? The hair? Oh my God. I'm not a huge hair person, obviously. I don't I often think most people look good without hair, or just with very little, actually. But this hair is really doing something to me. It's doing something to the whole look. It's giving it a very like Maleficent kind of vibe to it. Women's Wear Daily says Miley Cyrus embraces romantic gothicism in McQueen gown and Oscars. Yeah, so she's wearing Alexander McQueen. I don't know if I said that already. But this gown, I mean, it's a cool gown. I'm not in love with the gown, to be honest. I think when it comes to that kind of like high neckline and then like a straight structure, not many people can pull that off. I don't know, like something like that on me. I've tried something on like that before. It did not look good on me. But it really, really works on her. I think it has to do with like the body shape, but also just like the vibe the gown gives is very in line with naturally the vibe she gives, like her aura. Anyway, I love, love, love. I love the no eyebrows thing too. I think it also adds to that romantic gothicism. Women's Wear Daily. Shout out to y'all. It just gives this like spooky, beautiful look to it. I think that's it in terms of the Oscars looks, or the ones I want to talk about. The rest, yeah, everyone was alright. You know, sometimes people go on the red carpet, they're not trying to stand out, they're not trying to get people to talk about their look. They got an invitation, they're showing up. That's it. You know, they have to take the picture. Okay, moving on from current fashion events. Lately, I've been watching The Big Bang Theory. Like I said, I love movies and TV shows, so a lot of times I end up rewatching the ones that I really enjoyed the first time. And The Big Bang Theory is one of those classic TV shows that you must watch. If you have not watched The Big Bang Theory, it's basically wait, do I need to explain this? Do people know what The Big Bang Theory is if they haven't watched it? I don't I don't have to tell you. It's not that complicated. Anyway, what I started thinking about since I'm watching that right now is the concept of nerd style and whether it's supposed to be ugly or not. Like, okay, so there's this episode in season 1 of The Big Bang Theory where Leonard has to give a speech, and so he wears this like burnt orange corduroy or velvet. I can't really tell because the camera quality is kind of bad. He's wearing this orange textured suit, right? And he has like a patterned shirt under it with a tie that is, you see very little of it. That's not a big part of it. But throughout the episode, they keep making jokes about the suit to basically say that it's ugly, right? But like unironically, I think that suit is really nice and stylish. And I'm gonna find a picture of that suit because I'm sure I can and insert it. And I don't understand, or it got me thinking, since nerds are not cool, they don't count as stylish. And so him being into the suit and saying it's really cool then makes it unstylish. We're supposed to look at it like as if it's unstylish and ugly because he's a nerd and he picked it out and he likes it. Hmm. Anyway, it also got me thinking about Gucci. And I was like, Gucci is known for its maximalist pattern mixing, color mixing, animal motifs, and other figure motifs, and bold colors. They usually go with like jewel tones. I'm thinking like ruby reds, cobalt blues, um, a really like deep purple, emerald green, and then also the patterns. Like the patterns they tend to go for are the ones that are more furniture like. I would say like a corduroy, a velvet, a plaid, like something thick and kind of like typically not the most flattering and on the body. Like it's not something that's gonna sit and like flow and make you look sexy. It's more of like a structural fabric. So that's why I'm like, did Gucci make nerd style cool? That's question number one. And then is nerd style supposed to be uncool? That's question number two. So I think the first one is more of like a fashion question. The second one is more of a sociology based question. So I'm going to ask the person that I know has expertise in both those, which is ChatGPT. So moving on. I just had like a really existential moment just now. The reality of what I'm doing right now seems ridiculous, but I'm really into it. So let's get in. Is nerd style supposed to be ugly? Question. Not at all. You hear that, guys? GPT says not at all. Exclamation point. Nerd style has evolved a lot over time. Okay, so they just took it back and said it used to be ugly. What was once stereotyped as clunky glasses, oversized clothes, and mismatched patterns has now become trendy in its own right. Think vintage inspired glasses, graphic tees, tucked in shirts, and smart accessories. It's all about confidence and owning what you wear. The key is how you style it. With the right attitude, nerd style can be super cool and fashionable. Okay, so ironically, they just said yes. They use a lot of words to kind of like tell me that if I dress in nerd style, I shouldn't think of myself as unfashionable, but mostly it's like you just gotta change your mindset about it. Which in their defense, that's most of fashion. You always just gotta change the way you see it. The clothes themselves don't really change that much. There's only so many combinations of wearable structures, types of styles, different aesthetics, which are really just subcultures, inspire the way people dress. Like, there's only so much mixing and matching we can do to create like a whole new style, right? So, if you want things to feel new and feel like they're in style and that you are fashionable, you really just got to change the way you think about it. And actually, more importantly, the whole world has to change the way we think about it, which starts. This brings up a good point. When it comes to things becoming trendy and becoming fashionable that previously were not thought to be, there's a whole lot of ways that can happen. Of course, it can start on the runway. I guess quote unquote start on the runway because usually when things get to the runway, there's already so many things happening economically, socially, and politically that is influencing what we're putting on the runways, right? like waves of feminism, conservatism, different sports, or in like tennis was just in for like 2 years. So many things that happen in wider culture and pop culture, I guess you could say, become the inspiration for the designs that we see go down the runway and then trickle down through the fashion industry in general to make it into like fast fashion stores, and then mainstream people start wearing it. But it also can like it goes a lot of different ways sometimes too, because sometimes it starts the other way where it's like mainstream or people in the street, I guess you could say, people who are not affiliated with the fashion industry start wearing something and start thinking something is cool, and then it makes its way onto the runway, and then it becomes like a social event, and then like it's in politics and it shapes economics in a way because then that thing becomes more expensive because now people want it more, the demand is up, and there's so many ways that this can all move. But basically, the only thing that's really changing how we're seeing something, how we're viewing something, our perspective on it is constantly changing. And so that is what is going to kickstart any sort of trend. So basically, if you have unfashionable clothes or non-trendy clothes, and you're like, I want to be in trend, I want to be fashionable, just like change the way you're thinking about it. Like, just think to yourself, no, this is cool. And just have a good attitude about it. And then maybe you'll set the trend. And then maybe your styling will end up on the runway. And then you don't have to change anything in your closet. You don't have to spend any money. You just change the world. How about that? Let me ask the next question. Did Gucci make nerd style cool? Gucci played a huge role in elevating nerd style into high fashion, especially under Alessandro Michele's creative direction, 2015 to 2022. He embraced bold, eclectic designs that mixed vintage-inspired pieces, oversized glasses, quirky patterns, and layered outfits, all hallmarks of classic nerd aesthetics. Michele's Gucci runway also featured models in thick rimmed glasses, cardigans, bow ties, and retro prints, blending intellectual charm with high-end fashion. By doing so, Gucci redefined nerd style as sophisticated, expressive, and undeniably cool. It's proof that fashion thrives on reinvention, and what was once considered uncool can become iconic with the right touch. See, it's like it's the same thing. It's hard to quantify or qualify what is that right touch that they're speaking about. What is the thing that suddenly makes it go from uncool to cool? Visually, what is changing? I don't necessarily have the answers, but I can speculate. Part of it has to do with understanding what the human eye views as beautiful composition. You know, like that balance. Why is it we can look at something and be like, that's really nice. That's well balanced. That is a like when we look at a painting. Sometimes we look at a painting and we're like, kind of ugly, or maybe it looks undone. Why do we think that, even if we're not painters? Because of composition. And that's something like innate to human beings that we look for. It's the same thing when we look at a person and we discover whether or not we are attracted to that person. There's things like how close they are to being symmetrical. Just paying attention to composition and paying attention to things like balance and color can really take you a far way when it comes to knowing how to dress yourself. It's complex when you talk about it, but in practice, it's not that hard. The last thing I wanted to talk about is Vogue as a business. So I have a Vogue subscription. I started this subscription almost 10 years ago. I have paid Vogue no more than $20 total. I think it was 15, to be honest. And for almost 10 years, I've been getting Vogue magazines coming to my house. And that got me thinking, how is this economically viable that they can keep sending me these issues and I have not given them a dime since I was prepubescent? How does Vogue make money? I think I should ask ChatGPT because I'm very curious. Vogue makes money through several key revenue streams, blending traditional publishing models with modern strategies. Oh my god, why was that such a mouthful? Okay, so we've got advertising, brand partnerships and sponsorships, print sales and subscriptions, digital content and online advertising, events and experiences, licensing and merchandising. Oh, they're talking about like books, collaborations, fashion lines. Okay, social media and influencer marketing. Okay, how much money did Vogue business make in 2024? As of December 2024, Vogue business's annual revenue was approximately 15 million. Specific revenue figures for the entire year of 2024 have not been publicly disclosed. Is Vogue making more money than it ever has? That's a good question too, because when you think about it, like I know they just explained that it isn't just traditional publishing makes it its money, but at the same time it's like magazines are kind of losing a lot of their prestige and a lot of their like people are turning to alternate sources like myself, I guess, for fashion, entertainment and commentary. So how is it that they're still raking in money? Like that's what I'm trying to get at here. Determining whether Vogue is currently generating its highest revenue ever is challenging due to limited publicly available financial data. Okay. However, some insights can be gathered. Condé Nast performance. In 2021, Condé Nast, Vogue's parent company, reported nearly $2 billion in revenue, making a double-digit percentage increase from 2020. Whoa, that's crazy. Actually, that's insane. How how does that happen? Okay, Vogue's estimated revenue. I forget that Condé Nast is the parent company. Estimates of Vogue's annual revenue vary significantly. For instance, Grojo estimates it at approximately 1.1 billion, while Zappia reports around 6.5 million. Oh, that's a very big discrepancy. Okay. Well, Condé Nast is doing really well. So if Vogue itself, which is just one stream of income from for Condé Nast, isn't necessarily on an upward trajectory in terms of its money making ability, as a company as a whole, they can afford to take that loss because they're making money elsewhere, I guess. You know, what would be interesting to see what is their most, like Condé Nast in general, what are their most profitable ventures? Most prominent and financially impactful ventures include Vogue, The New Yorker, GQ, and Vanity Fair. That is insane that they own all four of those. Vogue, as a leading fashion authority, Vogue has a substantial global readership and advertising base, making it one of Condé Nast's flagship brands. Okay. The New Yorker. Renowned for its in-depth journalism, literary pieces, and cultural commentary, The New Yorker attracts a dedicated subscriber base and premium advertisers. Yeah, there are people who love The New Yorker and read it religiously. Is it really in-depth journalism, or is it just long pieces? Because there's a difference, okay? Um, GQ, targeting men's fashion and lifestyle. GQ appeals to a broad audience, securing significant advertising revenue. Okay, so GQ is more men's targeted. So I guess that makes Vogue more women's targeted. So Vogue, women's fashion. The New Yorker, journalism. GQ, men's fashion. Vanity Fair, covering pop culture, fashion, and politics. Vanity Fair maintains a strong presence both in print and online, contributing notably to the company's earnings. So it's just gossip. Because pop culture, fashion, and politics, like Vanity Fair is not. Let me look up Vanity Fair's most recent article. Let's test that theory. Let's see. Front page of Vanity Fair's website. Sarah Palin is eyeing more than just money in her Times defamation suit. Why are we talking about Sarah Palin? Okay. Meghan Markle's show reboots the Kelly lifestyle for our chaotic era. It's like Instagram, but for people who like to read more. That's what Vanity Fair is. I'm sorry, like that's what it is. Since establishing a dedicated commerce team in 2019, the company has seen a fivefold increase in commerce revenue over 4 years with expectations of continued double-digit growth. What the fuck? E-commerce initiatives. Yeah, that's actually an insane amount of money. Okay, next, digital video and entertainment. Through Condé Nast Entertainment, the company produces a variety of digital videos and series, expanding its content offerings and revenue potential. Okay, so this actually makes sense to me. Digital video and entertainment. It's kind of, I want to say self-explanatory, but it's more well understood how digital video and entertainment, like YouTube, Instagram, all the platforms, and even like commercials and whatnot, bring in money because they function as billboards, most of them, but also just through posting on the platforms itself. If you're getting a shit ton of views, which I hope they are because they're using a lot of celebrities and whatnot, they are making, I would think, a substantial amount in AdSense. This makes kind of sense. I see. But those e-commerce initiatives, I kind of want to dig more into that. What does that really mean? INMA.org, International News Media Association. Okay. Okay, Patrick Gray is the executive director of commerce at Condé Nast. They've increased revenue fivefold in the last 4 years. Do we understand how crazy that is? Like, that is an insane. That's not even like exponential. That's like light years. Like, that's a lot of growth. Condé Nast is a private company, so it doesn't share many statistics. Patrick told me that up to 50% of the audience of a brand interacts with commerce. Whoa. That's insane. How do they do that? Condé Nast has lifestyle brands, not new brands. Okay. Oh, yes, Condé Nast owns the brands itself. So a big way in which they advertise those brands are through like GQ, Vanity Fair, Vogue. Oh. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. That's insane when you think about it. It's like you're reading. Okay. All right. I don't really read magazines that much. I already said I have a Vogue subscription, but I do not crack that thing open. I look at the cover, think whether or not it's a good cover, and I move on with my life. But for the people who are reading magazines or even reading the online articles, like everywhere that has a product placement, the magazine owns that company. This is insane. Okay, so it's basically like for the products that they advertise, like whether it's beauty, fashion, whatever, lifestyle products, if they own the company itself, they're not paying for the ad placements because they own the magazines. Oh my god, this is like incestuous. It's making it look as if they're genuinely endorsing the products, like I don't know, whoever's talking about it or whatever, whether it's a photo shoot, whether it's a article where people are just talking about the products they like, they are specifically placing those products because they own those products. Oh my god. They're giving us the entertainment and selling us the products they make. Is this legal? Is this legal? Because this sounds kind of crazy. Well, this makes me feel good about not reading Vogue because I don't want to be manipulated. Yeah, this is actually insane. I kind of wish I didn't know this. Am I stupid for not knowing this? Do you guys know this? Did you know that the products, the magazine, the websites, all under the same company? Did you guys know this? Like, let's be so for real. Tell me if you knew this, because I did not know this. Wow. Well, that makes sense as to why there's like 50 ad placements on like one article you read, right? I hear people say it all the time, where it's like, oh, the same like two companies own everything. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, yeah, a lot of people own things, but at the same time, is it not that drastic? When I think about it now, if you really think about the amount of magazines out there that are under the same parent company, and then everything they feature in those magazines, product wise, is probably under that same company as well. I'm sorry, I just went on like a consumer existential crisis type thing. All right, so that's all I got today. I'm gonna like, I'm just gonna chill for a little bit and be skeptical of everything around me. Um, yeah. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Actually leave me some comments below of things you guys want me to cover or things you want me to deep dive into. Anyway, I gotta go. Okay, bye guys.